Good Saturday evening, meteorologist Jordan Young with you. We're in for a very wet period with a lot of rain expected to come to the Carolinas. You can see that there is a jet stream right now that stretches all the way from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean, and that's really what's going to be allowing a lot of this moisture to be coming in from the south and from the east. Let's take a look at what exactly happens as we move forward. This is now looking at your day on Sunday, and notice how that jet stream is beginning to move onshore. That's the strongest winds. It's called a jet streak, and you can see it stretching from roughly California all the way to the east coast. And as we move forward through time, that jet streak continues to what we call back. It kind of moves north and west, and that allows a lot of moisture to move in north. Out across the west coast, there is what is called a upper level trough that is really beginning to dig in. And as we move forward, that trough really digs across the west coast, and then a high pressure kind of digs in on the east coast. That allows that jet streak just to remain right over the Carolinas. And as we move into Tuesday night and into Wednesday, notice how we're in what's called the right entrance of that jet streak. That's a very good area for a very high upper level divergence over the area, which helps to create a lot of rising air and a lot of rain, and potentially some very heavy rain as we move through the day on Wednesday. That jet stream is still just funneling moisture in straight from the southwest, right up from the Gulf of Mexico and the Pacific Ocean, right into the Carolinas. And that trend continues all the way. This is next weekend. This is Saturday early morning hours, and notice how that jet stream is still just continuing to pump in that moisture. It's not until the middle of next week that we may finally start to push that jet stream on out of the area. We might finally be able to dry out. You can even see it here. This is looking at the 500 millibar. That's about 26,000 feet into the atmosphere. And notice these lobes of energy out west, and as they begin to rotate into our area, and they really begin to bring in some of that moisture and some of that upper level energy, and it's going to just continue. Notice how those waves of low pressure just continue to sit right over the west coast. That's just going to allow that moisture just to continue to feed our way, and it's not until Saturday and Sunday of next week that we may finally get to push some of this out of the area. The precipitable water values will also be going up. This is the amount of moisture that's in the atmosphere. As we move forward through the day on Sunday and Monday, you can see we get a surge of moisture before we kind of dry out briefly on Tuesday, but that does not last long. By Tuesday night and Wednesday, we're getting a big surge of moisture. Some of these moisture values are 250% what is expected in the area, way above average for this time of year. And notice how that just continues to sit right along the southeast coastline, stretching through much of the southeast, and continues all the way into early next week. We see that precipitable water remaining high, and thus the chances of rain also remains high. So here's your futurecast radar, and as we move through the day on Sunday, it's Sunday afternoon, it's the best chance of rain. You can see it really moving in. This is early during the morning hours on Monday morning, and you see that rain sitting right over the Carolinas. But that system kind of passes on. We briefly get into a little bit of a dry spell in between the two systems, but you can already see our next system beginning to organize across Texas, and by this is now Wednesday morning, you can see another slug of moisture. It may actually start off as a little bit of sleet and freezing rain, and maybe even some snow across the mountains, but then eventually warm air advection will win out as we move through the day on Wednesday, and we will transition everybody over to just a cold rain for Wednesday. That lasts all the way through the day on Thursday, and there's even still showers around as we move through the day on Friday. It's not until Saturday we might see a little bit of a break before everything reloads again, and our next system moves in for Saturday and possibly Sunday. But that's kind of far out, so the devil's in the details that far out. But what does look certain is that we will have some very heavy rain for much of the next upcoming week. Let's see how much rain we're expecting. Right now, this is my current forecast. I'm expecting 6 or more inches right along the eastern facing slopes of the Blue Ridge all the way back into far western North Carolina. 4 to 6 inches across much of the foothills to Catawba Valley and stretching up in parts of the mountains. 4 to 6 inches of rain. 3 to 5 inches, including the Charlotte metro area and just east down towards Raleigh, expecting 3 to 5 inches. Eastern sections, though, right down in that far southeast corridor, it's kind of a little bit far away from all the moisture, if you will, and in the best upper level energy. So we're expecting a little bit lower amounts, but this is just through midnight on Sunday morning next week. So there could be some more rain on Sunday and Monday of next week. We're still working out the details on that. I'll be sure to keep you updated. Flooding will be a concern moving forward with all this very heavy rain that is expected across the Carolinas. I will keep you updated with all the latest information on my website, www.wxcarolina.com. That's our new website. Be sure to check it out, wxcarolina.com. Thank you. I'm meteorologist Jordan Young.